7 decades later, the suffrage movement succeeded. On this day in 1920, the United States ratified the 19th Amendment. It was a monumental victory for equality, for justice, and a monumental victory for America. Today, a record-breaking 131 women are serving in Congress. Nearly 70 million women vote in elections. 56% of our nation's college students are women. More than 11 million women own successful businesses. In other words, women dominate the United States. I think we can say that very
Hola,
strongly.
sí, sonido. Hola, hola, hola,
Before
hola.
the China virus set in
Amor.
and struck our nation, women had gained 4.3 million jobs, a record. The women's unemployment rate had plummeted to the lowest level in more than 65 years. And last year, over 70% of the new jobs went to women. And I will say we're coming back very strongly, and we're going to see those numbers again very soon. But the numbers that we have for unemployment and employment, frankly, we had 160 million people working. We've never even been close to that. And by next year, we'll be even higher than that number. Tremendous things are happening. As we fight to deliver a better future for all women and for all Americans, we remember the wonderful victory 1 century ago. While I am president, America will always honor its heroes, and we will always celebrate the patriots who secured women's right to vote. So this is an incredible document that I'm signing, and I wanted to just add something because this was brought up a week ago, and I was so surprised that it was never done before. Because later today, I will be signing a full and complete pardon for Susan B. Anthony. She was never pardoned. Did you know that? She was never pardoned. What took so long? And you know that
¿Puedes
she
abrir
got
el link?
pardoned for a lot of other women.
Te envié una cosa ahí al
Put
WhatsApp.
her name on the list. So she was never pardoned. And we're for voting. That's right. That's right. She was guilty for voting. And we are going to be signing a full and complete pardon. And I think that's really fantastic, right? She deserves it. So thanks, sign, and we'll do the other signing later on. It's being prepared right now. And I look forward to doing it. Thank you very much. Please.
No te abres el link. No te abre el link.
So let's take these and hand these out. This is much better than signing one letter at a time. You ever see what those signatures look like? They're not good. They're not good. So thank you all very much. And who would like to have the privilege of today?
Señora. Vete a. Vete ahí, tú, un momento.
The commission is doing a fantastic job. If you have any questions, this is your shot. This is your time.
I have a question. Mr. President, you spoke about the suburban housewife, and you described her support for you. I'm wondering if you can tell me what you think. What is a suburban housewife? And does the suburban housewife support the president?
Well, I'm from Nancy. I run Concerns Women for America and Mobility Law. And we actually are she prays, she votes events in 10 states, doing virtual events for women being held in small, women-owned businesses like clothing stores, manufacturing plants, any number. Susan B. Anthony was pro-life, and so are we. Women are concerned about their schools reopening, they're concerned about their businesses, and what better man to restart the economy than the one who did it the first time?
Thank you. We did do it once, and we're doing it again, and the number looks like beyond a V. It looks like a super V based on the kind of numbers we're coming out. I guess you're seeing that. They were saying that's not possible, and now they're saying it's a super V, and that's what we're having. Any other questions, please, for the commission?
Mr. President, could I ask about Saturday, the House vote on the postal service bill? Is that something that you will be?
Well, we'll talk about that later. We'll talk about that. The Democrats want to make it a political issue. It's not a political issue. It's really about a correct vote. You have to get voting right. You can't have millions and millions of ballots sent all over the place, sent to people that are dead, sent to
Búscame con el
dogs,
correo a veces.
sent everywhere. This is a serious situation. This isn't games, and you have to get it right. I just want to get it right. Win, lose, or draw. I think we're going to win. Win, lose, or draw, we have to get it right. Well, they're going to do something in Congress, but everything they do is political. As an example, why don't they do it now instead of on Monday? They picked a day, actually. They picked another day on Monday, as you know. Well, that's when the Republican convention starts. Why don't they do it during the Democrat convention? Because everything they do, Nancy and Chuck, they play games. How's it working out? I think this is the White House, isn't it? How's it working out for them? Not so good. So I will tell you, it's disgraceful. It's disgraceful. We have to have honest voting. That's what this is all about here. It's honest voting. You can't take millions of ballots, send them haphazardly all over the country or all over a state, and expect to come out properly. And if you look at the last 10 elections where they did this universal, and by the way, absentee is great. It's been working for a long time, like in Florida. Absentee, you request, and it comes in, and then you send it back.
Pero no
Absentee is
entiendo.
great. But universal
Hola.
is going to be a disaster, the likes of which our country has never seen. It'll end up being a rigged election, or they will never come out with an outcome. They'll have to do it again. And nobody wants that, and I don't want that. Go ahead, please, let's talk about this subject, however. Although, indirectly, we're probably talking about the same subject. Wouldn't you say, Cleve? Cleve is an expert on this. I've never even asked. He's one of the great attorneys in Washington. Do you have an opinion on it? And if it's not my opinion, please don't say it. Come on up here. And I must say, very interesting.
Well, I do have an opinion. The president is right. One of the things that the Democrats and their allies in the media and the left have been trying to do for a long time is to have universal mail voting, where election officials send ballots to everybody on the registration list. But we all know there have been multiple studies, the Pew study, millions of people are on the rolls who are no longer living there, they're dead, they're non-citizens. Don't forget, when you go to the DMV or social services, they ask you, they're supposed to, by law, they have to ask you to register to vote, whether you're eligible or not. All of those registrations are dumped into the system, and so there are duplicates. I am chairman of a public interest legal foundation. We're devoted to election integrity. And we just did a study of Allegheny County, Pennsylvania. We found one man with 7 active registrations. If you send him 7 ballots, there's the potential to vote 7 times. So the issue is, I actually have a memo I'm working on to give to the president about what the post office should be doing. They should be working with local election officials. They should be making sure that the ballots are designed in a way that processes properly through the voting equipment, through the post office equipment. If everybody is focused on this, the Postal Service, the president is somehow trying to do something to the Postal Service. I defy anyone in this room. All of us can name multiple times when we sent a letter across town and it either didn't get there or came back 3 months later undeliverable to a correct address. So we know that the president is not responsible for the problems of the post office. But there are things the Postal Service should do in conjunction with election officials, and they should do those now and make sure that the systems are in place to properly process the ballots that are sent by mail. But the problem is that we are facing hundreds of lawsuits that have been filed by the Democrats and leftist organizations to force states to not have polling places. I personally believe that it's still, we should have election day, we shouldn't have election 3 months, and for sure we ought to be able to know by election night who won. So, Mr. President, you're 100% right, and there are a lot of us who are standing behind you and want to help. Not yet.
No, if you have it all. From you, I'll take pictures. Really, what are the good news? Thank you very much. Oh, wait for it. All right. Yes.
There are a lot of issues where what the president is doing, talking about public safety, which is increasingly a concern for women as they see what is going on, but also policies that he's taken. So the president has done extraordinary things on healthcare. His executive order requiring price transparency, that is an issue that is 88% popular across the country, across